We often imagine history turning on grand events, wars, revolutions, decisions made by kings and generals. But sometimes, the largest outcomes begin with the smallest actions, almost invisible, almost accidental. Today, we're diving into a story that proves this: the domino effect in history, starting with a single moment in Sarajevo, 1914. On June 28, 1914, a young man named Gavrilo Princip stepped out onto a quiet street in Sarajevo. He wasn't expecting to change the world. He had one goal: to act on his beliefs. At the same time, the Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria was touring the city in his motorcade. A wrong turn, a delayed driver, a chance coincidence, and the Archduke stopped right in front of Princip. In one heartbeat, history shifted. One small, almost random alignment triggered a chain reaction that would engulf the entire world. An assassination, a declaration of war, alliances activated, millions of lives altered forever. The world's political map would be redrawn. Empires that had lasted centuries collapsed. Entire societies were transformed. And it all began with one young man in one city at one moment. History is often taught as a series of grand events. But the truth is, dominoes were falling silently, everywhere. Austria-Hungary's response triggered Russia to mobilize. Russia's mobilization activated Germany's military plans. France, bound by treaties, entered the conflict. Britain joined. Alliances triggered. And suddenly, a continental crisis became World War I. A single street corner in Sarajevo set off a cascade of political decisions, treaties, and military actions. Each step seemed inevitable in retrospect, yet each was influenced by a tiny, unpredictable cause. Science calls this sensitivity to initial conditions, the heart of chaos theory. In complex systems, small changes can amplify over time. A single action triggers a chain that becomes unstoppable. The Sarajevo assassination illustrates this perfectly. One man's act, alliance activation, war across continents, tens of millions of deaths. Even human behavior follows this principle. Small micro-decisions accumulate and can define long-term outcomes. Minor actions, repeated, can create enormous momentum. Wars also create economic dominoes. A single assassination led nations into mobilization. Factories converted to war production. Economies shifted. Stock markets reacted. Global trade patterns changed. Millions of small financial decisions, soldiers signing up, merchants adjusting supply, governments taking loans, all amplified the initial spark into a global catastrophe. Even after the war, these dominoes continued to fall. Treaties, reparations, the Great Depression, all traceable back, in part, to a single event in Sarajevo. The lesson is clear. The largest consequences often originate from the smallest, most overlooked actions. We forget how fragile complex systems are. We forget that one person, one moment, one decision can change the course of history. Gavrilo Princip's act wasn't inevitable. The war wasn't inevitable. But in the chain of cause and effect, small actions became unstoppable forces. Across history, science, and society, one truth stands out. Big changes often start with tiny sparks, invisible triggers, seemingly random moments. A single domino can change the world. Remember this the next time you underestimate the power of one small choice.